Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Now what's today's recipe? Well, today's recipe I decided to go with gyoza, and what it is basically is dim sum, but it's dim sum that is fried. So let's get started.
Now here I have 1 tablespoon of salt, which we're going to add in our bowl, and next we are going to add in 4 cups of all-purpose flour, and we are going to mix. Next, we're going to slowly add in our 2 cups of water and mix until our water is mixed in. Once we are done mixing in the water with our flour, we are now going to knead the dough. Now you can tell that this texture is very wet, but please know and have in mind that once we knead the dough, we are going to be adding in flour until we get the texture needed in order to roll out our dough. Now that we have the perfect texture needed, we are now going to roll our dough into a ball and set into a bowl, and we're just going to let it rest. Now here I have 1 pound of shrimp, and we are going to be peeling up our shrimp so that we can chop it up. Now that we have our 1 pound of shrimp all peeled up, we are now going to be chopping up our shrimp. Now I love a perfect texture, and you can have it perfectly chopped up and have a bit of big chunks in order for it to be a perfect texture and consistency inside the pot stickers. Now that we already finished off micing up the shrimp, now it's time to cut up our green onions. Now here I used 2 green onions, which I cut in half and then in half again. You need to have it really chopped up so it has a nice refined texture. Now you're going to need only about 2 pieces of green onion. Next we're going to peel up our ginger, and I decided to use a cheese grater just because it's a faster process and it gets the job done even better than chopping it up. You need 1 tablespoon of ginger and 2 cloves of garlic. Here in this little black bowl I have 2 tablespoons of soy sauce and 1 egg. We are now going to lightly beat it together. Once we are done beating up our egg, we are going to add it into our mixture of shrimp, garlic, ginger, and green onion. Once we are done mixing, we are going to let it sit while we roll out our dough. Now we want our dough as thin as possible, but also not too thin. I recommend using a rolling pin that has 2 handles on the side for faster and quicker access. You will want to lightly dust flour on top of the dough so it won't stick to your rolling pin. We are almost done rolling out our dough. I selected this blue little cup because it makes almost perfect circles, and it's not too big and not too small to fill up the filling for the gyoza. Now let's just take off away the excess, and we are going to dust them a little bit with flour so they do not stick together when we use it to fill up our filling for the gyoza. Next comes the tricky part about the gyoza. Now that we put in our filling, we are going to press the edges together and just fold it and overlap it together until we get the perfect form of a gyoza. Now just repeat this process until you are done with your filling and with your gyoza wrappers. And next we are going to go on to our next step. And here I have the gyoza in the frying pan. Now you need at least 1 inch of oil, and it must be hot in the pan in order to fry your gyoza. Now let's just let them here in the pan until they're golden brown. Now that your gyoza cooled down a little bit, I love to eat my gyoza with a little bit of soy sauce, and it's the most scrumptious thing ever. I hope you enjoyed them. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe for new recipes, and leave a comment if you have any suggestions for new recipes. Thanks so much for watching. Till next time.